The story: Building Hope in the Dry Season. Imagine living in a completely wicked world, surrounded by people who mock any talk of righteousness or divine judgment. You receive a bizarre, massive command: build an enormous, three-deck wooden ship in the middle of dry land, far from any water, because a global flood is coming. Everyone calls you mad. For a century, you work on this impossible project, powered only by faith. This is the ultimate story of Noah, who proved that courage is the willingness to look foolish in the short term for the sake of survival in the long term, and that obedience to an absurd vision saves the future. The story as it is written in the Bible, abridged from Genesis 6-8. The world had become so filled with violence and corruption that God determined to destroy all living things on earth with a flood. However, Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. The Bible describes Noah as a righteous man, blameless in his generation. God gave Noah precise, detailed instructions for building an ark. It was to be made of gopher wood, covered inside and out with pitch, and built to immense dimensions: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, larger than a football field. It had 3 decks and a single door. Noah's obedience was immediate and absolute. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. Genesis 6:22. He likely spent decades building the ark, enduring relentless mockery from the society around him, which had no concept of rain, let alone a global flood. When the time came, God commanded Noah to take his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, and bring aboard 2 of every kind of creature, male and female. After Noah and his family entered the ark, and the door was shut, the rains came. The fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. The flood covered the entire earth, destroying all life outside the ark. For 150 days, the ark floated on the waters. Eventually, the waters receded, and the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. After a total of 1 year and 10 days, Noah, his family, and all the animals disembarked onto a new, cleansed earth. God then made a covenant with Noah and every living creature, promising never again to destroy the earth with a flood, establishing the rainbow as the sign of this eternal covenant. Noah's obedience was the pivot point for the restoration of life on earth. Practical commentary: the courage of the convinced minority. This story is the ultimate testimony to the power of conviction, the importance of preparation, and the long-term vindication of faith. 1. Vision requires long-term sticking power. Noah spent decades, potentially a century, working.